Hello, Unlimited friends. It's Zara from ZMAHOON.com. I have a question to ask you today. Do you feel that worry and anxiety literally suck the life and the joy out of you? I used to be a chronic worrier, so I know how that feels. You're constantly evaluating a situation and looking at people and making lists of pros and cons and wondering how people are going to behave towards you and what you should do in response. And you're trying to look at things from all possible angles so that you are aware of all the options out there. And that's where the worry comes from. It's this constant urge to control the outcome, right? Do you feel that way? Because I know I've been there and I used to feel that way. The reason I was worried was because I had established this connection between two things. And the connection was between caring and being liked. I had convinced myself that if I wanted to be liked by other people, then I had to worry about them. I had to worry about their response to me. And if they cared for me, then they would worry about me. So I measured how much someone cared by the amount of worry that they displayed. How silly is that, right? And when I say it like that, but I honestly, that's how I thought. And think about it. That's how you think as well. Because when somebody doesn't call you, you wonder if they care, if they worry about you. Oh, that person doesn't care about me. They haven't called me. Well, that's an assumption that we are making, that somebody has to show their caring or their love by the amount of worry that they exhibit. Oh, are you okay? Did anything happen today? Right? That kind of thing. And from a law of attraction perspective, that actually increases the size of the problem. Anyway, you see, I wanted to be seen as a caring and loving person in all my relationships. And I wanted to be loved by everyone else. But there was another reason. I wanted to feel my value. And I felt my value when I cared, when I loved people, when I showed my caring. That's when I felt my value. So I wanted things to go my way, and that was another reason. I felt that if people like me, then the chances are that things will go my way. And I thought that making people like me was the answer to having a happy life. Well, guess what? My strategy backfired, and it backfired big time. I gave in to things that I never should have given into. I should have said no to them. How can you say no if you want to be seen as a loving and caring person, right? That was the dilemma I had. Well, dear friends, that inability to say no is what got me into an abusive marriage. That inability to say no is what allowed that abuse to continue. I knew something had to change, but I was scared. It was a really, really, really scary time for me, because saying no meant that I had to give up my existing belief system about wanting to be cared for and showing my caring and my love for others by never saying no. So here's how I was thinking. If I changed my status, if I showed disregard for this marriage by leaving it, then I would be going against everything that I had been taught by my parents and by the society that I lived in. I would have shown a complete disregard for the institution of marriage, and I had been raised to be a good little girl. I had been raised to believe that my goal in life, my job, my duty was to be a good wife, which meant being caring and giving in, being the one who always gave in, put myself second, and put other people first. I was taught that sacrificing your own happiness in order to make other people happy was a good thing. And I knew that I had to get away from the abuse. So I had to change something about the way things were going on, but I just didn't have the courage. And then I remember one morning I was getting dressed for work, and as I looked into the mirror, a voice spoke to me in my head. It seemed as if it came from nowhere. It just popped into my head, and it said, "Who are you? Who is that person in the mirror? It's just a mask. And how many masks are you going to wear today? You don't want anyone to see your real face, the real you, because that would be really painful. So what are you going to do about it?" And of course, it hurt really, because I knew that what that voice was speaking was true. And then I had an epiphany. And the epiphany was that doing nothing, not changing anything, would just allow the problem to become bigger. And if I was going to solve this problem, then I had to find a way to do things differently. And by that time, I had tried everything, because I would say yes to whatever anyone wanted of me. I wasn't pushing back. I realized that I wanted to smile, and that it wasn't worth it to make others happy if I couldn't be happy as well. And that is what propelled me to try something different. In that moment, my decision was made. And when I had the opportunity, I ran away. At that point, I learned to say no. I said, "No, I will not go back. No, I will not give up my child. No, you can't tell me what is good for me." It wasn't easy being a single mom in a culture where that is practically unheard of, especially, we're looking at 30 odd years ago. It wasn't easy having to earn a living and raise a child all on my own. But I only ever looked forward. And as I discovered more and more about law of attraction, I got to know the power of just that simple act of looking forward. It was much later that I realized that I had followed my guidance in that moment when I made my decision. And as I learned more about the law of attraction, I understood that not looking backwards was what saved me. It allowed the past to loosen its hold on me, and it allowed me to go forward to realize my potential. Ultimately speaking, I learned that it was better to say no to something that didn't feel good rather than go along with it, which only made problems bigger. This helped me to achieve a very important work-life balance. which was crucial in my situation as a single mom. And it helped me to stop worrying about how other people perceived me. I no longer worried about saying no because someone would be annoyed with me for a few minutes, or maybe they would be annoyed for half an hour or an hour or maybe even a day. I realized that people were fickle, and if they were happy with you, that happiness didn't last long, and that if they were annoyed with you, that annoyance didn't last long either, because they got diverted with other things and you just weren't as important as you thought you were. And that realization helped me so much. It gave me my freedom back. Although I didn't consciously know about law of attraction at that point in time, I wasn't calling it law of attraction. I was calling it more spirituality and inspiration at that point in time. I was calling it self-help, and I was reading that kind of literature. Yet, what I've learned is that in those times, I was using the law of attraction consciously. And what I learned is that what I really accomplished was breaking an association between two things that I had created in my mind that did not need to exist. And the association that I had created in my mind was that in order for people to like me, I always had to do what they wanted me to do, and I should never say no. When I cut that cord, when I broke free from that, when I realized that I could be liked just for being me and not because I was saying yes to everything other people wanted from me, that's when I broke free. That's when I found my self-worth. And that's why I became confident in my life, and I was able to go forward and start realizing my potential as a human being, as a mother, as a daughter, as a key component of society. What it led me to do was to create a process that I started using consciously that would help me to take all my fears and challenges and cut those associations, sever the cord that was holding me back. And I call that the 4-step process. And I first wrote about it in 2015 in my book, Thrive. And I'm in the process of taking that 4-step process and developing an online course and a workbook around it to help people to do the process and to be able to exploit its full value. Because as I coach people one-on-one and I use the 4-step process with them, I notice how powerful it is. But I also notice that when people try to do it on their own, that there are some things that are missing, and in order to solve that problem, in order to help everyone be able to do it on their own, that's the impetus for creating this workbook, and I'm so excited about it. If you are subscribed to my blog, ZMAHOON.com, you will automatically receive a notification when the course and the workbook is ready, if you want to check it out. And if you want to check it out but you're not subscribed to my blog, then I suggest you go over there and hit subscribe so that you can receive information for when the course and the workbook are released. So in the meantime, take care, have fun, and remember, your happiness is as important as anyone else's happiness. You don't always have to keep being the one who says yes. You don't always have to be the one who gives in. You don't always have to be the one who sacrifices. You don't need to be a doormat. And if you feel like a doormat, do something about it. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.